Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, whenever you may be watching this. I apologize, we weren't able to do our live stream of our normal Sunday service yesterday, and so we're going to do it today, here this Monday morning. There's going to be a little bit different from how we sometimes will do it, but it'll be good to go nonetheless. So we're going to be in the book of John again, but we're actually going to go backwards. Um, because what we're going to talk about today is the importance of inviting people to church. One of my board members, we had a board meeting a few weeks ago, and one of my board members mentioned, especially for the holiday season that we're coming into, that this would be an excellent thing to preach on, and I agreed with him. And so as we finished John chapter 5 last week, I figured that this Sunday, as it's the Sunday before our potluck, stuff like that, would be an excellent opportunity to talk about this. So we're going to take a few minutes here this morning. And we're going to spend some time talking about the importance of inviting people to church, as well as how to do it and stuff like that. We're going to be in John chapter 1, verses 43 to 51. And they read, "The next day he purposed to go into Galilee, and he found Philip. And Jesus said to him, 'Follow me.' Now Philip was from Bethsaida of the city of Andrew and Peter. Philip found Nathanael and said to him, 'We have found him of whom Moses in the law and also the prophets wrote, Jesus of Nazareth, the son of Joseph.' Nathanael said to him, 'Can any good thing come out of Nazareth?' Philip said to him, 'Come and see.' Jesus saw Nathanael coming to him and said of him, 'Behold, an Israelite indeed, in whom there is no deceit.' Nathanael said to him, 'How do you know me?' Jesus answered and said to him, 'Before Philip called you, when you were under the fig tree, I saw you.' Nathanael answered him, 'Rabbi, you are the Son of God, you are the King of Israel.' Jesus answered and said to him, 'Because I said to you that I saw you under the fig tree, do you believe? You will see greater things than these.' And he said to him, 'Truly, truly, I say to you, you will see the heavens opened and the angels of God ascending and descending on the Son of Man.'" We're going to talk about a lot of stuff from this passage, but we're going to leave a few things out. We talked about them back when we talked about John chapter 1 a few months ago when we were in it. So whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, on our Spotify, be sure to like, share, subscribe to all of that stuff. You can find that sermon, and I'd encourage you to go back and listen to it as we cover a few different things besides what we're going to be talking about here this morning. Number one on our note sheets for this morning is to share with joy. I could spend 20, 30 minutes here telling you how important it is to invite people to church, but the fact of the matter is that you probably already are aware of that. You've got that idea already in your head. Maybe it's not quite as important to you as it should be, but you already know that that's something you should be doing. And so as I was prepping for this, I said, I don't think that it's of as much vital importance that I tell you to invite people as much as it is I tell you how to invite and give you some tools and stuff to be able to do it. So that's what we're going to be talking about. So what we see in this, there's a few things. First off, how you share and by share I mean share your testimony, and how you invite people is of vital importance. You have to become a salesman of your church. Now, obviously, I want you, if you're listening to this and you're able, I want you to come to FBC New Milford. I think we have an incredible church here, an incredible group of people. We have an incredible kids ministry. So if you've got kids, we've got an incredible kids ministry that goes on Sunday mornings. I think that I'm a good preacher and stuff like that. We've got a great worship team with my wife and I. So I want you to come here. But maybe you're not in this area, or maybe you prefer, a hymns-only sort of service, or the opposite, you prefer a service that doesn't do hymns. There are churches in our areas that do those things, and I encourage you to go. But if you go to church and maybe you missed last week and so you're watching, or maybe you feel that I have to be the salesman to you to come to church, I told the congregation yesterday, you need to be a salesman. Now, not one of those, cheesy sort of used car salesmen from the TV commercials and stuff like that. You don't see those nearly as much anymore, but you used to. But I said there's a big difference between, we do kids ministry, so, and it's only an hour long, so you don't even have to sit there for very long and stuff like that. That doesn't sell your church nearly as much as if I said, listen, I already said it. We've got a great kids ministry, an incredible kids ministry. So if you've got kids, bring them. They're going to love it. But if your kids don't want to go back there yet, that is fine. They are more than welcome in the sanctuary with us, boring adults, right? We've got a great kids ministry. We've got a great worship ministry. It's hard to say we've got a great pastor when you're the pastor, but we've got just an incredible atmosphere of love and joy and peace at this church. It's not perfect. This church is not perfect. The people within it are not perfect. We don't ask you to be perfect, but we're asking you to come. Give us a try in person. We've had a couple of different people over the past 7 years, give or take, that I've been the pastor here, that started watching us online and then eventually said, we should go to church. We should go. And they're awesome. They're great parts of our church and stuff like that. And I think that if you did the same thing, you would realize, boy, we need to be in the pews. It's so much better in the pews than it is online. You need to sell your church to people, because giving them something that they want, anybody that understands selling, you've got to get them to take it. And I can stand up here and somebody else could invite and say, listen, you could hear about Jesus. Well, right, but you could hear about Jesus in a lot of places. What makes us different? And I tell you right now, what makes us different at FBC is our love for everybody. That is not to knock other churches and say they don't love, but it is so encouraging when we do things, whether it's Sunday morning, whether it's a funeral, whether it's our Wednesday evenings, things like that. People come and they tell us there's so much love. You clearly love people at this church. And it's not just me. In fact, it's not me at all. I mean, I do love, but it's the people here. You've got to sell what your church is. There are a lot of distractions in this world. There's a lot of reasons not to go to church on Sunday mornings anymore, right? We're not living in the 60s and 70s and 80s and even parts of the 90s where it was the social thing to go to church. We're not living in that day and age anymore. So whether it's things your kids are doing, whether it's you don't want to get up in the morning, whether it's, well, we can watch online, right? There are plenty of reasons not to go to church. So as a believer, if you want to invite people to church, you've got to sell them on your church. We've got an incredible church here full of incredible people. I'd love it if you joined us too. Secondly, you need to go where they are when you invite and when you share, right? So on Sunday, I went in the back of the sanctuary, the middle of the sanctuary, I should say, and preached a couple of minutes from right there. And I said, listen, I'm going to the place where some of the people are, right? They like to sit in the back, right? Back row Baptists. And I said, I'm going to go to where you are. Instead of expecting you guys to come up here to the front, I'll go to where you are. And as believers, when we invite to church, or when we share our story, you need to go to where they are. You need to go where they are. I've talked to a lot of people, and they say, it's hard to invite people to church. Church just never comes up in our conversations. And I look at them and I say, great, did you bring it up? Did you bring it up? And they went, no, there really wasn't a time for it. And I said, then make the time. Make the time. Yeah, it's awkward. It doesn't feel right, but go. You're working with them, and you say, hey, why don't you come to church with me this Sunday? It's that basic. It's not easy. I'm not standing up here and going, it's the easiest thing in the world. No, but what I am saying is you can't expect them to bring it up to you. You can't expect them to bring it up to you. You need to bring it up to them. You need to bring it up to them. Go to where they are and preach the gospel and invite to church. You guys, if you're a believer, you have the words of hope and life and peace and joy. Share them. Now, maybe you're in a place where you're not real confident in sharing them yet, maybe, and that's okay, I get it. First off, the only way you're going to get more confident is by doing it. It's the only way you'll get there. You have to just do it. But secondly, bring them to church with you, and I will gladly share. I will gladly share. Barely a month has passed since I've become the pastor here at FBC New Milford, where I have not preached a salvation message of some kind. And that is because I never know who's going to come through the doors, and I never know who might be sitting in these pews who is not a Christian yet. And I will share those words of hope and peace and life. And so I told them yesterday, and I tell you guys today, if you guys come, if you guys bring them, I'll preach the words. I'll do it. You guys need to learn to do it, but I'll do it too. And we'll get them together. Secondly, on our note sheets, it is not up to you. It's not up to you. Now, you can say, Pastor, you just told us, you just spent 10 minutes telling us about how it's up to us. It's up to us. Well, here's the thing. It is up to you to invite people. That is true. It is up to you to invite people. It is up to you to share your testimony. It is up to you to open your mouth and speak, and to open your mouth of your life and show. What is not up to you is salvation. God's going to do the hard work. The hard work was already begun. It started at the cross, and when he rose again 3 days later, but it is not up to you to cause salvation to happen. In fact, you can't do it. You don't have the power, neither do I. Only God does. So your job is to bring them to God and say, okay. Or more aptly, bring God to them, right? It's not that God can't go, but it's you've been entrusted with this. You've been entrusted. You're a messenger, and you've been entrusted with this. So bring them, and then let God do the working. Oftentimes, I've talked with people, and they talk about how it's so hard. And I say, because you're not focusing on the right part. You have the easy part of this job. Just bring them. Let God do the hard work. Let God do the things that are extremely difficult and life-changing. You and I don't have to do those. God will do them. So then let's apply this to us. And some of this is going to apply to you. And I've said this already multiple times, but I want to say it again. If you do not go to church anywhere, I want to invite you to come to FBC New Milford. I could give you a ton of reasons. I've already given you some. But I'm going to give you a few more now. And if you're somebody who usually does go to church and maybe you missed last week, maybe you were sick or something happened, right? Things like that. Here's how you can, some ways to invite people to church and some reasons to do it that are the physical reasons right now. First off, I already mentioned it once, but we have our Round the Table Church Potluck next week, Sunday. It's actually this coming Sunday, the Sunday before Thanksgiving. That starts at 10:30, and it's a great jumping in point for somebody who's new. Because what's going to happen is you're going to come. We're going to be downstairs in the fellowship hall, right? Starts at 10:30, and we're going to eat food. We're going to sing a couple of songs, some more of our well-known songs that we do, and we are going to hear a message about thankfulness and talk about the great things God has done, the things we have to give thanks for here at FBC New Milford for this past year. It's a great jumping in point because it's not like you've got to just sit in our pews and stuff like that. So it's a great jumping in point. Invite people to that. Secondly, and by the way, if you are invited to come as well, bring a dish or don't, but come on in. Secondly, throughout the month of December, we sing Christmas carols. So not next week, but starting the Sunday after that, we will be, there's 4 Sundays in December before Christmas. We will be singing Christmas carols every single week. That's what we do. I love Christmas songs, and so I look forward to this time of year every year. And what's great about that is if you're inviting people or if you're relatively new to church, I understand that a lot of songs that we sing are not well known by the general populace. I understand that. I'm not singing songs for somebody who's not a Christian, quite frankly. I'm singing songs for God. And so we're going to sing songs about his blood and his redemptive work and things like that that makes somebody who's new maybe a little uncomfortable. I understand that. I get it. So come during those 4 Sundays in December, because we're going to sing Christmas carols, and most people will know, "Oh, Holy Night," and "Silent Night," and "Joy to the World," and "Oh, Come All Ye Faithful," etc., at least a verse or two. And so you'll be able to sing along with us. You'll feel a little bit more engaged in what we're doing. It's a great jumping in point. So if you're new and haven't gone to church, come on in and sing our songs with us. And if you aren't new and you're looking to invite, then tell the person, "Hey, listen, we're going to be singing Christmas carols. Why don't you come in and sing the Christmas carols with us," right? Make sure they know it's not like a hymn sing sort of thing. We're not just going to spend an hour and a half singing Christmas carols, but come on in and sing with us. Thirdly, I should say, most people love kids. And on December 21st, it might be, 21st, 22nd, hang on, I'll bring my calendar up, is our kids' Christmas program. It's kind of a mixed service. And again, it's the 22nd. And again, it's a jumping in point because it's not our full-fledged service. There's going to be a bunch of different things that happen in it. And so again, it's not like you have to dive in to what we're doing yet. You get to put your toes in the water and then dive in. Right? I don't know about you, but when I'm getting in a pool, I do the thing where you stand on the steps, and then you take another step down, you stand there for a minute, and you take another step down, right? And I understand that a lot of people want to be able to do that with church. So this is a great time of year to do it. And lastly, meet the expectation people have. We call them creasters, but it's the people that go to church on Christmas and Easter, right? So we call them creasters. And here's the thing. People expect you to invite them to church for Christmas because it is one of the 2 times a year where everybody understands that it's about God and Jesus. And so they expect you to invite them. So meet the expectation. They're already expecting you to. So go and do it. Say, hey, why don't you come? Invite them out to a Christmas Eve service. That's going to be Christmas Eve, right? December 24th at 6:30. Invite them out to that, right? Things like that. Meet their expectation. They've already got it. So say, all right, if you're already expecting it, I'll just do it. I'll just do it. And now here's the thing. For those of you that do go to church, here's your practical. For those of you that don't, your practical is go to church. Come here. Church starts at 9:30 usually. Next Sunday, this coming Sunday, it starts at 10:30. But usually starts at 9:30 right here in the sanctuary. And I invite you to come and just have a great time with us as we worship God. And maybe you're new to it. That's okay. Come on in anyway. But if you do go to church, whether you come here to FBC or you go to a different church, I know we have people that watch in Florida and things like that, right? Here's your practical. Invite a minimum of 1 person a week from now until Christmas. There are 5 Sundays between, right now, this is Monday, November 18th. There are 5 Sundays between now and Christmas. Invite at minimum 1 person a week. So at minimum, you should invite 5 people. That's a minimum. Invite them to go to church with you. Maybe they need to sit with you. Maybe you need to pick them up, whatever. Invite them to go to church with you. A minimum of 1 person a week. I'm going to be honest with you. Most people probably aren't going to go. That doesn't mean you don't ask. The worst you're going to get is no. The best you're going to get is that somebody comes to church with you. Boy, that seems like worth it to me. So, use, and all that stuff is stuff from here at FBC that I mentioned. If you go to another church, you may know what your church is doing. But here at FBC, those are the things that we are doing. Some selling points. Talk about our kids' ministry. Talk about our worship. Talk about your pastor if you like him, right? Talk about the Christmas songs and things like that. Sell people on coming to church. And then see what God does with it. See what God does with it. It's not up to you to do the work. It's just up to you to hand them the invitation. Once again, a reminder that next Sunday we start at 10:30 downstairs in the fellowship hall. It's a true potluck, so bring a dish to share, and we'll worship God together next week downstairs in our church fellowship hall. So we give thanks for all that God has done for this past year. God bless you guys. I thank you for being understanding that we couldn't put this up yesterday, but it's up there today on Monday the 18th. And I pray you guys have a great week, and we'll see you Sunday at 10:30. I should also say, because I mentioned this yesterday and it's not out there because we didn't record yesterday, there is no Wednesday night service the rest of this month here in November because of Thanksgiving and stuff like that. There's a few other things going on. So no Wednesday night services here in this month. So we'll see you guys 10:30 on Sunday morning, 9:30 if you want to come to Sunday school. God bless and have a great week.